What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and Google Stadia has dropped today, and it is actually so much more than I expected it to be. And before I get into all of the crazy promises they've made, some of the things that I might be a little bit skeptic of, I want to take just 30 seconds of your time to thank Dollar Shave Club for sponsoring this video. That's right. You know it's hard out there to find sponsors who will stand by their creators, and Dollar Shave Club has continued to back this channel, and they have amazing offers. If you're like me, you don't like going out to the store and picking up your shave lather or your new razors, and you forget about this stuff. So you use razors too long and you end up rushing to the store, or you have to overpay. Well, Dollar Shave Club will let you set up with either your toothbrush, toothpaste, oral care, your shower gels and soaps, or your shave gear, one of 3 packs, each only $5 to start. Now, if you want to find an affordable option for keeping your face clean, or maybe you want to buy it as a gift, or maybe you want to support a sponsor that supports the channel, make today the day that you check out dollarshaveclub.com/quartering, link in the description, to show them some love for standing by and supporting the channel. And to be honest with you, I've been really happy with the razors and the everything else that I'm using. I don't necessarily use everything they send me, but I do want to announce they sent me beard oil even. I even have beard oil. That's how they're looking out. Dollar Shave Club looking out for the Quartering with some repair serum, beard oil. Thank you very much. Now, I want to get into covering everything that happened today in the Stadia launch, which was insane. I just want to look over some of the things I was tweeting out as I was kind of live covering the event. It was about an hour long, if I remember correctly. They led with a huge value proposition, 1080p, 60 FPS, and you can connect seamlessly. They showed it on stage, basically picking up a laptop, Chromebook, cell phone, moving from one to another seamlessly, playing the game. Now, let's get the 2 biggest question marks. Is one, what kind of bandwidth is required to do this without any latency? Is there input lag? These are questions that hardcore gamers are asking and are skeptical rightly about. And any new product probably isn't for everybody. I still think there's room in the market for consoles like PlayStation 4 and Xbox for a very long time. But what Stadia is offering is so much more than just kind of this cloud gaming that everybody was talking about. Now, of course, when they said they were bringing the future of gaming, it was kind of hilarious. But in the coverage, they talked about being able to go all the way up to 8K. They talked about their current processing, where Stadia is already more powerful than the current Xbox One X and PS4 combined. Now, people are saying rightfully that, hey, I mean, these are last generation consoles, whoop-de-doo, and that's a fair critique. But Stadia is launching this year. They're going to have more information going on this summer, and so next-gen consoles really aren't out there. And the thing with cloud gaming, we've seen this many times before in a variety of services, but in this particular case, they've worked directly with AMD to develop their own GPUs, and the GPUs are scalable, which is insane. They brought out id Software talking about Doom Eternal already entirely ready to go for this platform. I'm assuming it will probably be one of the launch titles for this platform, running in full 4K 60 FPS right now on Stadia. They talked about how all internal traffic is running on the Google backbone, which people are rightfully concerned about. However, if you're not concerned about it, the stability of that, allowing games with Battle Royale, instead of having hundreds of players, they can go to thousands of players because of the reliability of the data connection. Stadia will also have full cross-platform, even sharing saved games between platforms at launch. They will also be bringing back split-screen co-op, 0 performance penalty because it will continuously add more GPUs to do it. Stream Connect lets you bring other players' literal screens. Imagine if you're playing Call of Duty and now you can pull up your 5 teammates' cameras and see everything that's going on with them. I mean, that is That is really exciting. Bringing back kind of couch co-op as they talked about it. They talked about, of course, Stadia will now allow users to hop into a game. If you happen to be streaming a game using Stadia on YouTube, you could join the game. Now, of course, stream snipers would be an issue, so there's certain games that maybe this wouldn't work on, but it is a neat little feature, and it's a little nod to creators. Stadia even worked in Google Assistant. So if you're in a tomb, in this case, how do I beat this tomb? And here it'll give you the top result. That's right. Now, the two biggest questions about Stadia that I've seen, of course, are the bandwidth and the cost. In my opinion, I might be wrong here, obviously, right? But I'm not sure it's going to have a cost. Everything in my experience that Google has done in the past has always been to do what? Extend their ad reach, right? The reason Google has Android phones is to serve you ads. The reason Google has Chromecast is to serve you ads. The reason Google has anything, the Home Assistant, is to serve you ads. So my guess is, you heard it here first, my guess is it will be free of cost. That's my guess. Obviously, you'll pay for the games, I would assume, on the platform. But I also would anticipate Stadia to have free games on there to get people on the platform. I believe it will be ad supported and thus have no individual cost. But I could be wrong, obviously. Some of their things they talk about that they showed in the reveal were mind-blowing. So Assassin's Creed Odyssey, let's say I bought that right now. It would take, even on my ultra-fast connection, I have something like 400 down and 40 up. Okay, I have a higher-end connection for the United States. It would still take several hours to download and install. On Stadia, they literally clicked it and they were in the game. There is no install. You can be inside the game in just seconds. They also talked about, cross-platform. So meaning you can game on your laptop, your desktop, several different phones and tablets. The same game. They even brought up basically a dumb terminal on the top in the presentation and showed it running excellent 1080p 60 frames a second. Now they say here, high-speed internet connection required. We also don't know what kind of data is traveling through this. So let's get into some of the issues, right? They've said 4K HDR 60 FPS dependent on your bandwidth. Gameplay experience may vary based on quality of internet connection, of course. Now, in my experience, when I think about what it takes to upload, like if I'm uploading 1080p 60 frames a second, I need at least 5 up. At least. Probably 6, 7, 8 up. So I'm guessing that in order to stream 4K 60 FPS, you're going to need at least 10 or 20 down. Now, this is somewhat standard. I'd say maybe 50% of the country probably has this available as base packages for high-speed internet. That still leaves a ton of people without access to Stadia who will use traditional console gaming still. But also think about how Netflix scales when we're watching films, right? Based on the quality of your connection. Buffering will allow more seamless play. Now, the 4K, a lot of this remains to be seen. The integration between YouTube obviously seems the most interesting. And if you look even at their trailer dropped just moments ago, and you could see relatively positive. This is great competition against companies like Shadow and GeForce. I'm not a gamer, but I'm excited too. I don't know why. Very excited. Didn't hear about cost. Maybe a subscription model. Let's see if anybody says anything. Yeah, shop style, $50 a month maybe, something like Origin. I'm guessing that it's not going to cost anything. Now, I'm not saying that's a fact, but I'm saying based on every other move that Google has ever done, it's about expanding the reach of their ads. Will this kill consoles? Well, it's tough to say because I think the newest like Xbox console is going to aim to do something like this as well. But Google essentially beats them to the punch. And if they have no cost to Stadia, why would you buy an Xbox? Why would you? I mean, I would say the hardcore gamers, the gamers that cannot deal with literally any input lag, are still going to be console gamers. But people that hardcore, I don't even fall into that group. And I spend a lot of money on video games. I don't know if I'm interested in going cross-platform. The idea of playing Assassin's Creed on my phone doesn't excite me, but I realize that that does excite some people. You know, playing on a tablet, playing on a phone. I think if I got into it over time, you know, look, I was just trapped in Denver for 4 days. I had my laptop there, and I had my cell phone, and I had a tablet. You know, I could have been playing Assassin's Creed on a tablet. Now, I don't know how fun that would be, but there are other games, obviously. Now, playing Doom, you still want your keyboard and mouse setup, but there's also the Google controller, which is an interesting plugin that kind of works with as an interface for a lot of games. The controller itself even has abilities to instantly share, to share this to YouTube, to do a lot of different things that will help bridge the gap. So essentially the Stadia controller, which I should bring up here. Here we go. Stadia's controller eliminates some input lag. Google revealed Stadia game streaming platform today. The service enables players to begin with high-end video games over the cloud at the press of a button. You don't need hardware beyond the device with a screen. This is basically dumb terminals, right? But Google is still putting together some polymers and plastics to create the Stadia controller. The device looks similar to a lot of modern gamepads, and it closely resembles a Nintendo Switch Pro controller. One extra face button, it does not have a set of analog. It also doesn't offset analog sticks, so it's more symmetrical, like the DualShock 4. But Google did pack some interesting high tech into the controller, and one of its most impressive capabilities could help reduce the lag of streaming a game over the internet. A Wi-Fi gamepad. Traditionally, you want to connect a controller directly to an Xbox One or PS4 or PC. That would introduce a number of barriers between you and the game with Stadia. You don't want the controller connecting to the app and then to the game. That's not how Google built the device. Instead, the Stadia controller uses Wi-Fi to connect directly to the game in the cloud. This bypasses a lot of potential hurdles that could cause input lag. You may still get visual latency. We haven't tested Stadia yet, but a direct connect Wi-Fi controller should go a long way towards making games feel snappy and responsive. We also talked about the Google Assistant. We talked about it bringing back split screen. The ability to enable split screen gaming shows the power of Google Cloud, which is available in more than 200 countries. Google enables players to play streamed games at 4K 60 FPS. Google signaled its intentions when it hired Phil Harrison, former head of Sony's worldwide studios. Now, again, we don't know what kind of bandwidth requirements we have here, but, I mean, a lot of people can already stream videos in 4K with relatively no problems at all. We're talking about probably the fattest pipe and with the biggest rips out there when we're talking about the Google's backbone. So it's interesting. I'm excited. This is a big change for gaming. But I also, you know, think about the people that have data cap limits, what that looks like, what it's going to cost, if it's going to cost anything. And also, are the games going to be discounted? Are there going to be situations where, you know, you need an ultra high fast internet connection? I would still think for the next year or two, most people are absolutely fine with games at 1080p, 60 frames a second. I mean, that's pretty much just fine for most people. Hardcore gamers are still on the PC anyway. They're probably not going to mess too much with this. But the casuals, you know, the boomer gamers, games journalists will love the Google Assistant. There's a lot. This is a lot more announced than I expected. We're going to have to wait to see what some of the bandwidth requirements look like. We've seen them kind of just hint at you need a high-speed connection, but what is a high-speed connection? What kind of data are we talking about? Are people going to go over their data caps? But That said, most of the games we're playing now online are streaming fine anyway. So, you know, there are millions of games that will benefit from this off the bat. And then the question will be about like the ultra high end AAA games, but we've already seen Doom Eternal announce that they're on there running at 60 FPS just fine. So what do you think about Stadia? Do you think that it's a potential danger for consoles? Do you think that it's just much ado about nothing? You know, Chris said Google Stadia is neat and I have a great idea. It's probably where consoles are headed. But it's basically on live from back in the day again. I guess it's smart to get the tech out there now, but I can't see this taking off until internet infrastructure is far better than it is now. That's not untrue. But for a lot of people, they already have decent connections, so it's going to be very attractive. You see Google Fiber extending. You see a lot of stuff going on with bandwidth. And what's interesting is, my hope is that cloud gaming like this is going to force internet infrastructure to get better, right? Internet companies only give the bare minimum they have to keep you on the contract. Once more people want Stadia and start changing providers, that may actually push more development in this area. So overall, very excited to see what Stadia brings, and even more excited to see what the next generation of consoles is going to bring. Like, what value adds is PlayStation and Xbox going to have now after we've seen what Stadia has? I'm sure they know about it, so it'll be interesting to watch. I want to thank Dollar Shave Club again for sponsoring. Check them out. Follow the link in the description. Pick up a shave kit. Pick up a toothpaste, toothbrush. Try it out. See what you think. Let me know. It's really important that we support the people that support the community, and Dollar Shave Club has always supported this channel. So thank you, Dollar Shave Club. Check them out. Get a razor pack for $5. Let me know what you think. Way cheaper than a lot of other options out there. Appreciate this. Looking forward to all the conversation around Stadia in the comment section down below. We'll talk to you again real soon.